Hi, I'm back with more programming. I'm going to pick up where I left off from last video and add some basic enemies to the game. This is probably going to be a short video. I'm not going to go really deep into it. I just want to get a little bit done today. So, as before, I have a JavaScript file that's holding all my game code, and I need to go into the directory that actually has that JavaScript file. Hold on. Sorry, I'm a little clumsy today. Not feeling totally on top of my game. That's why it's going to be a short video. But I should be able to demonstrate something. So, when we left off, we had var player was a single object holding the player. Var platforms was an array of objects holding the platforms. And it loaded the platforms in. So, if we're going to have enemies, we're going to follow that same idea. So, enemies is some kind of array. And we're going to want to draw them. So I'm going to go over to my draw code and actually do what I said before about factoring this draw image call into a function of its own. Function draw object sprite. And I just call it draw sprite, whatever. I'll know what it means. Sprite. Alright. So context draw image. So now when I have something I want to draw that has these properties that I have to use consistently if I want this function to work, then I can just do that. Sprite platform, and then draw sprite player, and for var I in enemies, draw sprite enemies I. So enemies is just an empty array that's never becoming not an empty array, so this won't change anything. But let's just make sure that it runs. Alright, good. So that change had no effect on anything, which is the desired state. I just wanted to make sure I didn't break anything changing it. Okay. So, we want these enemies to show up and do stuff. Alright, let's have some code every frame where if there aren't any enemies, we spawn one. Or if there aren't many enemies, we spawn one. Yeah, let's have, if there are fewer than 2 enemies, we spawn one. That sounds like a thing to do. Alright, so every frame, if enemies.length less than 2, spawn enemy. Alright, so now we have this idea that we're going to be calling some spawn enemy function. And that's going to have to push something on the enemies array. I'm thinking let's have these enemies come in off the top of the screen and seek out the player flying around. And so we're going to be pushing an object. Now there are a lot of different questions about how we might have these enemies move. But I'm going to assume for now they're going to have momentum of some kind. So let's give them a velocity. It starts at 0, 0. And obviously they have to have a position. And a width and a height, and let's make those both 32. The player is 32 wide, 64 tall, so these enemies will be as wide as the player and a little shorter. And let's have them start 32 pixels above the top of the screen. We need to decide where they start, left to right position, and we're going to need to probably decide some other things about them. But yes, we are using these textures, text top, text left, to point to the sprite sheet, so I'll need those. Let's just go ahead and get the sprite sheet brought up. Okay, that's fine. That's my enemy sprite for now. Alright, so we got an enemy sprite. That's coordinates 192, 0. So text left 192, text top 0. So no way to draw. We need to decide where we're going to physically spawn it on the screen. I'm thinking have kind of a pattern where it has a few different spawn points and alternates between them. Okay, so let's have a new variable that gets initialized. Let's see, var next enemy position. When we init, where am I initting? Oh yeah, I am initting here. Okay, so let's say next enemy position is 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this number to track the enemies appearing in different positions. Const enemy spawn left equals. Alright, let's have, I don't know, 32. Let's have the middle of the screen. That would be 320 minus 32. 88, yeah, sure. Then the right side of the screen, but not all the way to the right. Let's do 640 minus 64, whatever that number is. That should be good enough to get started. So then we do enemy spawn lefts and next enemy. What did I call it variable again? I called it next enemy position, sure. Alright. And then next enemy position equals enemy position plus 1 mod enemy spawn lefts. So we have the cycle where each time I spawn an enemy, it'll advance the next enemy position and use this array to figure out where it spawns. This will do nothing visible right now because the enemy's going to be completely off screen. I just want to see that it does something, so I'm just going to cheat a little. Alright, and we get an error. Good. I like getting errors because that means I have time to debug things. 132, missing element list. 130, oh. No, that's wrong. That's not enemy spawn. Oh, I was pushing a square bracket array, but it's an object, not an array. So it's curly braces there. Syntax. Alright, and now we see, yes, it did in fact spawn one enemy. I was expecting 2. Why is there 1? Enemies. Enemy 0. Left 32. Enemy 1. Left undefined. Huh. Oh. Modulus enemy spawn lengths dot left. Yeah. Not enemy spawn left dot length. There we go. Okay, so now it's spawning exactly 2 enemies and stopping. And the enemies are doing nothing, of course. So let's have them spawn all the way off the top of the screen and now have them do something. Alright, let's have them follow a simple rule. So for var I in enemies, var e equals enemies I. If e.left plus e. So I'm going to have it seek the player. If its left plus the width is less than the player's left, then that means it's to the left of the player. E.xv plus equals some e.xxl number, which I'll set up. Let's say xxl, I don't know, 1/16th, yxl. Actually, let's have them be kind of fast on the uptake horizontally, but not vertically. Let's try it that way. Oh, and I'm going to need some max speeds. I'll just set those in the enemy too. So that way, if later I want different kinds of enemy, I can change the variables when I spawn them. X max speed, I don't know, 2, Y max speed, 3. I don't know what these numbers are going to feel like. I'm just trying some notes to start. Alright, so if it's to the left of the player, then it accelerates that way. And if e.left is greater than player.left plus player.width, exv minus equals exl. So it'll try to accelerate left or right based on where it's relative to the player. And likewise for top. Left top. Width height. And change the x's to y's. Now, if e.xv is less than minus e.max, I guess call it e.xmax speed, whatever. Xmax speed, exv equals minus e.xmax speed. So now that Selenium will never overshoot so far. It'll always have some amount of speed it'll build up to and then not accelerate any more than that. So we don't get strobing and so it doesn't just fly off the screen ridiculously. I might also need to have it treat the edges of the board as walls, but I don't know if I need to do that yet. E.left plus xv, e.y plus equals e.yv. And this is going in a loop, so each enemy is going to be doing these things. Adjust its x velocity, adjust its y velocity, clamp its velocity, and update its position. And that did nothing. Or it actually probably did something. Let's see what it did. The enemy has top, left. It's moving kind of, but it's not. Oh, e.top plus e.yv. So it was never updating the variable that was actually being used for its vertical position, so it never reached the screen. Alright. Well. Not too shabby. I'm seeing one little problem here. There's a convoying effect where the two enemies just kind of merge into each other. In some games that just happens. If you play a retro game with enemies that have seeking behavior, you just dodge them for a while. Sometimes they do just merge. But we can make that a lot less likely to happen. Let's have the X cell actually be slightly randomized. Math.random is a random number from 0 to slightly less than 1. And if we just add even a small amount of randomness in, that'll prevent enemies from having exactly the same speed as each other, which in turn does seem to make them fly around a little more independently. Yes. So right now they wouldn't do anything if they touched me anyway, but they can chase me and I can have fun trying to dodge them. So that is some very basic Zeki AI. They don't know anything about platforms. They'll just move through the platforms. They don't know about the edges of the screen. They'll just flow off the screen. But it doesn't feel wrong. It feels like these are like a kind of enemy that could do that, like ghosts in Mario, for instance. Enemies don't necessarily have to have all the interactions a player has. And yeah, I'm jumping around. I think that one would have hit me there if I'd actually been testing for collision. Let's test for collision. Alright, so when I'm running my frame and I'm looking at my enemies, let's see. Okay, now we've updated it. Now, let's see if we're colliding with the player. So, if e.left plus e.width greater than player.left and player.left plus player.width greater than e.left and e.top plus e.height. So this is checking in all four directions that the positions are overlapping. Alright, if that happens, then I hit the player, and I have to tell the player to take damage. I don't know exactly what damage is going to look like yet. But let's just say player.damage is true as a variable. And then when I'm running the player's move, let's say if I'm damaged, I can't stand on a platform and I can't jump. So, key W, that's my jump command. So, and not damaged. And here, if I am damaged, it's like I'm holding S. Player.damaged. Or. So if I'm damaged, I'm always going to drop through platforms when possible. Ooh! I can even drop through the normally unpassable platform at the bottom. So, let's parenthesize this way. So if a player is damaged, then I will drop through. Otherwise, I need to be on a drop-throughable platform and pressing the thing. Yes. Although this is meaningless unless I'm on a platform, so I still need to be on platform. Okay. So the drop-through code now goes off for two different reasons. If I'm on any platform damaged, or drop-through platform pressing X. And the jump code won't let me go if I'm pressing W. I mean, the jump code won't let me go if I'm damaged. Alright, something happened there. Let's try that again. Okay, something froze. That's bad. What froze? Damaged is not defined. Oh. When I was trying to jump, it was looking at the variable just named damage, I need player.damage. Okay. So now I can jump. I can dodge more. I can keep dodging. I get hit, I fall off the screen, and then that's it. I just fell off the screen, nothing else happened. Obviously the game is going to have to be able to respawn me. But that's at least enough to have some sense of you get damaged and a bad thing happens. Ooh, that didn't feel right at all. That really didn't feel right. I think when I take damage, I need to stop being able to move horizontally. And if I'm hitting a platform while I'm damaged, I shouldn't even hit the platform in the first place. I should act like the platform never existed. And not player.damaged. Let's try that. There we go. So now I get hit, and I just immediately plummet to my death instead of having a weird arc that looks like I'm still playing the game. But if I'm moving up when I get hit, I still... Yeah, let's actually go even further. Player.damage is true. Player.xp equals 0. Player.yb equals 0. So now whenever I get hit, my velocity will immediately 0, and I'll fall to my... Ooh, interesting. If I get hit while I'm falling, then it should probably not care. So, only bother climbing the player at all if the player isn't already damaged. So now, I jump, I fall to my death. Reload the page. Jump, jump, jump. Jump. Yep, the two enemies have slightly different positions. So right now, there are only the two enemies because there's no way to get rid of an enemy. There's no weapon, so I'm never going to spawn a third enemy on this screen. There's just the two. Alright. But that's actually a thing. Like, we have a chasing behavior. It feels pretty natural to be trying to dodge it. The collision rectangles are maybe a little clunky because of the sprite shapes. They might need to do more details than just a rectangle collision later, but the rectangles are good enough for now when I don't even know what the shapes are going to be. Those numbers, I guess, for the enemy speeds seem fine. I could certainly see how if I had a weapon, I'm thinking I'm going to have to climb the top platform, grab a weapon, and then I get to use the weapon, hit the enemies for a little while. Kind of like a hammer in Donkey Kong, maybe. So, that's probably what I will do next time, is program in a way to hit these guys back. And when you kill them, they'll get damaged, they'll fly off the screen, and once one leaves the screen, it'll remove itself from the enemy array, and a new one will spawn. And you just keep going up, getting your weapon, and killing these things. Probably with some progressive difficulty increase, like maybe those speed numbers go up as you fight more of them. I haven't decided yet. Right now, we do have enemies that exist, enemies that collision detect against the player. So I think that's a pretty good session for right now, and I'm going to save this so I can edit it and upload it, and hopefully you'll be seeing it soon after I finish this recording. Bye-bye.